In the headlines, Ghana engages IMF for support to address economic challenges. A source familiar with the decision has told Graphic Online the support being sought from the IMF will be for a program that will run for a minimum of 3 years. Meanwhile, Associate Professor at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Lord Mensah says the government had other options than going to the IMF. Russia says it should not be blamed for the increased food prices in Africa. Energy Minister explains decision to relocate Ameri power plant to Kumasi. And in the Ahafo region, 8 people have died from a lorry accident. Welcome to Graphic Online's News in Brief. The government today announced that it was inviting the International Monetary Fund to support an economic program it has put together. This is to help address the economic challenges currently facing the country.
A press statement signed and issued by Govt Nkrumah, the Minister of Information, said President Akufo-Addo authorized the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta to commence formal engagement with the IMF after he had a telephone conversation with the IMF Managing Director, Ms. Kristalina Georgieva, yesterday on Ghana's decision to engage the fund. The statement added that the decision was supported at a cabinet meeting yesterday. Mr. Nkrumah further said the engagement with the IMF will seek to provide balance of payment support as part of a broader effort to quicken Ghana's build back in the face of challenges induced by the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent Russia-Ukraine crisis.
Meanwhile, a source familiar with the decision has told Graphic Online that the decision is to seek help under a program that can run for a minimum of 3 years.
Prior to the decision to go to the IMF, the government had made several efforts not to go to the fund. This is what the Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, said during a town hall meeting on the economy.
I can tell you, as my colleague, Deputy Minister said, we are not going to the IMF. Whatever we do, we are not. The consequences are there. We are a proud nation. We have the resources, we have the capacity. Don't let anybody tell you. Like when Joshua, Caleb, and the 10 others went to spy on the promised land. And only 2 of them came to say that we can do it. And the 10 went around the community murmuring, you can't.
And still on the IMF move, Professor Lord Mensah, an associate professor at the University of Ghana Business School, has expressed surprise at the government's decision and argues that government had other options.
I'm surprised because we've had a e-levy being implemented, and if e-levy is being implemented, that was the option that was chosen by the government. And in the end, we are expecting the government to maximize the little that is coming, to ensure the usage of the little that is coming, to ensure that we feel better. I thought maybe economic management is about having options and then making a choice, and as a result of that, you maximize the usage of the choice that you in that regard. But that is not what I'm seeing. I see a situation where, government wants to have everything available, all the possible choice. If we try this right, that's not work, we move on to the next one. And look at the state of time that we are using to do this. We creating what we call policy uncertainty.
And still on the economic challenges, Russia has refuted claims that the war in Ukraine was the cause of economic challenges in the world and the increase in food prices in some parts of the world and especially Africa. In a series of tweets this week, the Russian embassy in Accra had this to say.
Russia is not to be blamed for increasing food prices on the African continent, the Russian embassy said. According to the embassy, the Ghanaian media has fallen for a ploy by the West to blame Russia for increasing food prices worldwide. In the series of tweets Thursday, the Russian embassy accused the media of deliberately ignoring the fact that policies of the West had triggered economic challenges on the African continent since 2020.
In the energy sector, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, in charge of the Ministry of Energy, has been explaining why a decision was made to relocate the Ameri thermal power plant from Takoradi to Kumasi. He says the decision became necessary to ensure stable electricity supply in the country.
Addressing journalists at Parliament House today, Dr. Prempeh said after the Ameri contract elapsed in January 2021, the plant became fully owned by the government of Ghana. He said for over 10 years now, the Ghana Grid Company Grid Stability Exercise Studies has showed that the weakest link in the whole Ghana transmission system was in the Ashanti region and therefore suffered from more interruptions than anywhere else in the country.
Before we go, we take you to the Ahafo region, where our reporter Biya Mukasa Ali reports that 8 people died on the spot yesterday following a head-on collision of a taxi cab and a tipper truck.
The accident occurred on the Kwapon-Nobekwa Road at about 8:30 a.m. Others who sustained life-threatening injuries are on admission at the Govt Government Hospital. All the 7 occupants, including the driver in the taxi cab and 1 other person from the tipper truck, died on the spot due to the impact of the accident. Unfortunately, 7 personnel from the Ghana National Fire Service who were rushing to rescue the victims also got involved in an accident at the Kukwom T junction at Goso. According to the police, all the 7 officers who also sustained injuries were rushed to the same hospital, with 1 female officer among them in critical condition.
Graphic Online's News in Brief is brought to you by Graphic News Plus.
Download your Graphic News Plus now and choose your preferred package daily, weekly, monthly, and annually, and access free news on various interest areas as well. Graphic News Plus, connecting people through news.
Thank you for watching. For more news, please visit our website graphic.com.gh or follow us on Facebook at Daily Graphic and on YouTube and Twitter at GraphicGH. I'm Ama Amankwa Befi.